Hello, hi, my name is Zenka Caro. I'm founder of LightNets, and we are here with the Unlimited Show. We have a very special guest for you guys, and I know you will love him because he has studied over 70 healing modalities. He was in a tech job, and then he realized that this
Hello, hi, my name is Zenka
click
Caro.
of consciousness,
I'm founder of LightNets, and we are here with the Unlimited Show. We have a very special guest for you.
So we are going to be bringing him on right now, and we also have another special guest because he's Vinkenti is going to be working with people live at the Prophetic DAO Incubator, which is an event that's happening in Guatemala. And we're lucky enough to have the founder, Will, here right now. Will Blakey, he's going to be coming on and telling us about it. So tonight, again, this is Vinkenti from the Divine Benevolence Academy, and he really helps people shift into joy and therefore a whole new life. So very excited to bring you guys both on tonight. Welcome. And we're excited to have Will and his family here because he is also doing incredible things for the consciousness movement right now. Most importantly, organizing a month-long activation, 4 different weeks with different things they're covering. And Vinkenti, when are you going to be there? What week are you going?
Well, Vikenti and my brother Vinkenti, who I just met, we will be traveling there in about a month. And we're going to be hanging with Will and playing in this incredibly magical and beautiful potent land in Guatemala for 4 or 5 weeks. And then back to Bali.
Cool. Vinkenti, what are you going to be doing there? Exactly. Vinkenti. I said it wrong again. I'm sorry.
I love it though. I love it. That's beautiful. Vinkenti.
Dyslexia just went like all the gears went like, and I didn't get to review things as much as I'd like to before we started. So.
Well, good. It's very common for amazingly creative people to operate at speeds that are faster than your mouth. So it's all good. I do it all the time. Well, the first thing after arrive is I'm going to give Will a big hug, maybe touch his beard a little bit. And afterwards, we're going to do some things that I love to do in the world, which is connect people to their magic. And we're talking about setting up 2 amazing gardens in the village that Will is building. So these are going to be portal gardens, so you can connect to your soul family and find out which starseed families and civilizations you're connected to, who have been sending you messages and guidance and hints and winks and emails like, come on, it's this way. The gold is this way. So when you know who you're actually talking to and what they feel like, what they sound like, it can bring a lot of lightness, safety, and clarity. So you actually know, it's okay to take that next weird step and just blow up in your business and your impact, your relationship, your money, your fun, because you know where it's coming from, and it's coming from a good place. And the other bit is another garden to help people remember their purpose. So all of us have an amazing thing that we're here to do. Sometimes it's one thing, sometimes it's as many as 8 things. And when you tap into that and stop trying to figure out with your logical mind, like some people used to do for many years while working in IT. Sorry, I don't know why my hand does that sometimes. You can get stuck in the grind and trying to force things, and it just drains you. But when you remember and when you feel, you're like, oh, that thing. Hell yeah, let's rock that. That really creates a lot of momentum, drive, hope, energy, and opportunities. So we're going to be setting those 2 things up with Will in his magical lab. And it's going to be great. Come play.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a convergence of people. And I think that really is the winning combination. It's working with the other side, knowing your purpose, and having fun and walking to that. So it's really cool that you're going to show people that. And there's going to be very interesting people that are going to be heading to Guatemala. Will, tell us what you're excited about there. Before we dive into the interview, we want to hear from you.
I just had to give Mira to Mum. She was the star of the show at the Hollow Movement Wave. So anyone that's watching this that was at the Wave, welcome. This is Mira once again. And yeah, it's my beloved Aurora, and thanks for introducing me and giving us the opportunity to talk about this today. She has a lot more to say, so maybe we should just listen to her. Yeah, family is a big driver for our event as well. So maybe this is a good time to plug in the Forest School. You know, we're going to have a Waldorf and Montessori trained educator that speaks Spanish and English that will be hosting a children's school, Forest School, and a few other teachers that are showing up to support her in that as well. Because actually, I've heard it's going to be more popular than the. But yeah, the kids can play whilst we're also playing. You know, Vikenti's really good at bringing that vibe and that energy and the laughter and reminding us of the light-hearted nature that we are here for. You know, to create from that space. So the first incubator we did was in Bali. They're month-long convergences, as you put it. So we've done 2 already in Bali. This is our 3rd one. And it is very much a surrender experiment. You know, we kind of put a flag in the ground and say, hey, we're gathering these types of people and we're going to have these types of conversations and these types of workshops with this type of intention, but how we're actually going to get there, we don't know. And really, we're coming with the energy of service. So we don't want to over-organize. We want to leave room for the magic, for the connection, for the spontaneity. But, you know, also providing some structure. I see that you posted the DAOincubator.org. That's not the right website. So the website is the Prophetic DAO.com. And there's 4 different themes. So the first week, the 24th of November, it's the DAO Accelerator. So it's a DAO exclusive container. It's not for organizations that are still wondering whether blockchain is right or wrong for them, or, you know, are they still wondering? If they've decided that that is the right move, then this is the right space for them. So it's a DAO exclusive container, and we're creating liquidity pools to build the ecosystem, to create the economy, to create trade in a very diverse ecosystem of projects all around the world. And then in week 2, we go to Starseed Cities of Light, which is a land-based container. So it's for village and city building. It's for land projects all around the world, and anyone that's in service to those types of projects. So, you know, children's school and natural birthing centers and yoga retreat centers and musicians. So it's a really diverse crowd, but it's with the focus of growing the global network of land projects, of which Starseed Village is just one. So it's that week that Vinkenti will be sharing his magic. We'll be camping on the beach of San Pedro for 2 nights, and we'll have a Mayan ceremony. We'll be blessing the land. We'll be asking for permission. We'll be sharing our dreams. And we'll be calling in, you know, a really the highest vibrational timeline that we can imagine for that land. And we'll have the support of people like Mark Buckley, who's there with his quantum computer that can do 6 billion different scenarios per second to give us the best master plan possible for that land and kind of demonstrate in real time, you know, how to develop a project like this. So rather than talking in the classroom, you can actually come out and see it in action. And then the week 3, the 8th to the 14th of December is the Gathering. It's a really big festival that originated in Portugal. I know the Hollow Movement planning to go to Portugal next year. So this festival originates from there. It's been in Czech Republic this year as well. We're going to Mexico and California next year. We're bringing it to Guatemala. It's a regenerative showcase. It's a trade show. It's a conference. At the same time, it's a festival. So it's more of the same of the wave, but there's actually a 3-day section that we're dedicating to Hollow Movement called The Tide, where we'll be showcasing some indigenous projects. We'll be creating like pen pal style relationships between the entrepreneurial side of things, the visionaries, the people with resources to make projects happen, but also with the indigenous and the local impact. So it's both, you know, macro and micro. And we're blessed to have people like Vikenti showing up to serve. There's many others. You can see all of them on the website. And Zenka, thank you for choosing to interview Vikenti and give us the opportunity to share this with your audience.
Yeah, Aurora and Mira, do you guys want to say anything? Meanwhile, you guys can check out Prophetic DAO, which is in the show notes of the YouTube. Yeah, what are you most excited about?
We're just so excited to see everyone in Guatemala and to meet wonderful people. We're waiting for you.
Yeah, one of the things I really love about you guys is that they are on the cutting edge of Starseed, you know, consciousness, everything, regeneration, new systems, and DAOs and organizing in the digital way. So they're on the cutting edge of all the stuff that I care about, that you guys care about. So this is a chance to go meet people, to be in Guatemala, to be with this tribe, because yeah, all the money is coming and we're starting to build everything. So it's fun to connect with everybody, and we're excited. So thanks for coming on, Will. And cool. So
Yeah, thanks.
okay, cool. Vikenti, we're back to you now, and we're really going to dig into your work tonight and what makes you tick, and how you're helping the world so profoundly, because so much of our work at Light and I really identify with you, because you're taking away all the BS and then you're adding in all the fun. And you are yeah, so let's talk about, what would you say is your there's a lot of healers out there and you're doing it very differently. So why don't we talk about how you kind of came to this understanding, and tell people a little bit about how you work.
Thank you for that. I loved how you phrased that, taking away all the BS and bringing the fun. That's quintessentially yes. My journey has been a bit of a bumpy ride, with me starting to see and feel energies, entities, portals, and a whole bunch of other stuff since I was like 5. But nobody in my family or anybody around me, they didn't know about this. They didn't talk about it. I had no information, no clarity. I'm like, I see things. What do I do with this? Okay. So it just kind of simmered in the background until first year university. Then I found this really weird book about shamanism on my friend's desk. I'm like, what's this fancy thing? They're like, it's weird and quirky and totally out of this world. You'll love it. I'm like, okay. So that was my first conscious exploration with information about this. It was a book by Carlos Castaneda, a shaman from Mexico. And I just kept going because it felt so right. Like a piece of me was coming back home. Something was activating. Something was resonating with every course, every book, every manual. And yeah, so for a while, I still lived in the 3D. I worked in IT for a long time. Many startups, just juggling all departments because it was interesting. There was growth. There was room for, my multiple talents to show up. But after a while, my soul's like, okay, we're done now. Hello, is this mic on? Hello, we're done. IT, stop, enough. I'm like, I will keep going because I'm smarter than the universe. Huh. So 3 years later, after that, my entire body shut down. And it's like, okay, now we're going to take a little time out, and we're actually going to listen to the soul and make changes. Always we must, I suppose. So I had a lot of health problems. All of my joints were messed up. My liver was shutting down. My gut biome was next to 0. Depression, alcohol, apathy, just change or die, basically, was the choice.
We believe that in our research over this 100 people, interviewing them on their purpose, we call this phase disruption, what you just described. But it's also, I believe that the reason you get sick is it's your soul making sure you live your mission, making sure you live your purpose, making sure you have fun, making sure it's your dream, because otherwise you don't do it. And so in a way, our illnesses are signals from our soul to tell us to pay attention so we don't miss the big party of our lives, which is where we sit there and we go, I can't believe this is all happening. This is all synchronistically amazing. This is a very important threshold that we want everyone listening to this to cross. So you went down that dark illness, confusion, just zeroed out. Then what?
Then I had some chocolate and things were better for a while. But I ended up quitting my IT job. Nobody believed me that I'm just done. Here's my resignation. You got a better offer. Somebody headhunted you. You're joining a partner, a client, whatever. I'm like, no, I just want to live and we're done. We don't believe you. It doesn't make sense. You should keep on going. World leading IT company. You got the status and the suit and the watch. Go. I'm like, yeah, if I do this, I'm going to be dead in 6 months or less. So thank you. Bye-bye. Never to be seen again. I I went on a 9-month soul-seeking journey. I traveled to Vietnam to visit a friend, where I had some profound experiences and revelations, and just decided to dig in more into different modalities and exploration and healing, and really reconnect to what it is that I want to do. And one of the things that came through is like, yes, IT is good and it's interesting and you're good at it, but for some coincidental reason, for many years, friends, family, and clients have been coming to me and asking, hey, how do we have amazing sex? And what's all this magic consciousness and superpowers, clairvoyance, and talking to angels about? Maybe there is some sort of hint in this. So, I quit my IT thing entirely and just decided to focus on this. And the more I explored it, the more I realized how many things come naturally to me in these areas that I took for granted for many years, and other people find incredibly helpful. Like, what do you mean you can talk to your body and have a lot more fun with it and not eat sugar and actually thrive on eating less and the sleep gets better? It's like, what? That doesn't make any logical sense. Yeah, because it's a different fucking system of functioning. Logic, control, box, being crunched into a system that you're not built for. It's like me trying to wear a shoe made for Cinderella. I love good shoes, but that is not something I would ever wear.
Where do you think that's incredible, right? So people started coming to you because they wanted to know these most important mysteries because they can read about databases online. So what do you think people are missing logic-wise? Because I see what you're saying. It's like this consciousness stuff is so outside of the logical framework that I grew up with. It's almost, it's like, I wouldn't say it's opposite, but it's completely paradoxical, different, which is why I quit my job in augmented reality tech and was like, no, I got to focus on this. So where do you think our logic breaks down the people that you work with? Like, where are they still getting confused with why things aren't working for them?
I believe that one of the biggest roadblocks here is not everybody recognizes that we have growth stages, and not just, business and relationship and puberty and all that, but in our soul mission here as well. So you get plunked down into a family, you go to school, some of us go to university, and that's stage one for many people. Stage two is you go to work for somebody, then you burn out and like, oh, realignment, next stage. Then you're single, you try a bunch of relationships, you have a marriage, that's the next stage. Then you have a kid, that's the next stage. And a lot of people approach this from a logical, oh, we need to build a tree, plant a house, have a dog, the standard thingamajig. Okay, great. But what's your soul got to do with it? What's your passion? Where does it really make you feel alive when you're in this, when you're following somebody else's path? Or it's like, hey, I'm going to do something that nobody in my family ever has done, not just this generation, but like ever. This is so out of the world, out of their reality. They're going to tell you you're wrong, you're crazy, you're fucking whatever. And because that's their reality. So a lot of us have doubts and experience resistance because nobody else has done it around me. None of my friends are doing this. None of my community are doing this. And you're like, but here's this really cool thing that I found, and it works, and it produces results, and people get 5 years younger with no Botox in 60 minutes, and they start giggling and then having fun, and they start seeing Jesus and angels, and yeah, you're on drugs or it's a cult. Like, great. But it's important to recognize that you're here for a reason, multiple reasons often, and often they will push away the people who aren't ready to embrace this, and that's absolutely fine. Your magic, your miracles, your mission, they're not for everyone. I do not know a single person in the world who's here to serve all 8 billion of us. We're all different flavors of supplements and fruit and meat and whatever else energies. We're not going to be everybody's flavor. You're not going to be everybody's flavor. And that's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with them or you, and there's nothing right about them or you. You're just apples, oranges, skunks, money, cell phones, puppies. They're all different flavors of the universe. Somewhere we vibe for the entire lifetime, somewhere we vibe for 5 minutes, and those 5 minutes can be incredibly transformative and nourishing.
So that's interesting that you mentioned that example. And I agree with you. I think finding your tribe, especially when we're working in such extreme things like levitation labs and things like that, but I think the world is growing, is ready all of a sudden, you know, because the kids are the kids are all like ready anyway. So yeah. But okay, so here's my next question. So you talked about this person getting younger and different things happening. So when you work with someone, what of the four things would you say it is? Is it them dumping something, a belief in them that they had that was like stuck? Do you think it's that you're transferring your consciousness to them so they're suddenly in a different frequency, so to speak, like every brainwave, the whole thing is up, so you've moved them to a higher timeline? I don't know if I guess so. Is your energy that's transferring? Are you working with ETs or other beings on the other side? Because I tend to think that's how a lot of stuff happens that we just don't even realize. And I have some information on that I think. But anyway, and then the fourth thing is whether, well, they could just be in your reality. But anyway, I guess what is it? Are they dumping something? Are you transferring something? Or is it coming? Is this massive healings coming from the other side? Or do you just click their mind open and they go, oh yeah, I see, and I'm going to do this?
That's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. I love how you sprinkle ETs in there just for fun and flavor.
Well, I mean, all of the healers that I work with that are really good, a lot of them have angels, guides, and whatever that are giving, like, oh yeah, this guy has a problem with this, da. So someone's giving them that message. I mean, we're all one and everything like that, but you know, and I can just tell you that I know from the big massive healings that they do at Lynn McTaggart and Joe Dispenza and stuff, there are beings helping. I can guarantee you that. So I think we're underestimating the other side. The fact that we're just smashed into one thing that they can all see it. Like, so what's your theory on all this? Miracles.
Let's start with the ETs, simply because I think it'll be fun and easier, and then we'll switch to the healing aspect, okay? So ETs definitely exist. I've had aliens do a flyby my apartment in Moscow a couple of years ago. It was hilarious and mind-boggling to watch. They're like, come to your kitchen. Hi. Like, what the fuck? There are definitely many different types of ETs. You could think of them as lawyers, surgeons, healers, priests, whatever, because they're different types, different flavors. Just because they have different density bodies doesn't make them automatically better or more enlightened. They're just at a different frequency and level. That does not mean they're omnipotent. They all have their personality, their limitations, their special abilities. Like there is a god of baking. Sure, great. There's a god of wine. Great. Some archangels help with finances, others with leadership. Dragons help with prosperity and money, whatever. They all have their things. And if you know who you're talking to, which is a very important moment here, because not all of these ETs are good, which is one of the things that I'll be teaching at the DAO incubators, how to identify the sneaky fuckers who look right. They sound right because they have the right words and information, but the energy is just way off. And it's off for a big, nasty reason. So ETs exist. There's many of them. We're going to be creating portals for at least 9 different types of civilizations, like Pleiadians, Lemurians, Sirius, Andromeda, and a whole bunch of others, who are the good kind, who like to have fun, or light, or tuned into the similar things that we're creating on the planet. Expansion, consciousness, wealth for the people who are here to have sovereignty and leadership in a benevolent way, in a kind way. Not like, aha, I'm on top now. I'm part of the 1% of the 1%. Everybody bow to me. Thank you. We've had enough of that. So how's this landing?
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, we also know, obviously, at LikeNet, because we've been researching the ET thing for many years and documenting thousands and hundreds of thousands of contacts. So it's like obvious that it's happening. It's obvious that it's here. We've been told that in November, people are going to be more face-to-face to get ready for a bigger reveal in 2027. So we're on board with that. And I think it's interesting because I think when we understand these kinds of relationships, whether they're for healing, creating, or whatever, it's interesting to be able to be more aware of their guidance and their communication, because that's where you come in. That's where all of us come in. It's not like you have to have a special body or $200,000 worth of equipment. You know what I mean? It's like, it's right here. It's you deciding. It's you removing your fear, your subconscious fears, and it's you deciding. And so it's like, yeah, I mean, I think face-to-face contact is really where we want to go right now. Remembering, not just like, oh, I had a dream, oh, I had a minute, like, yeah, face-to-face memory contact, because we believe there's over 60,000 people that have had that already on the planet. And we've talked to some people. So it's like, so yes, yes, yes. And we can go, we can talk about that even more. To me, it's like fascinating, the whole starseed thing. Like, that really changes who we become, as people too, because we know that we're not just some random human. We know that we are part of a bigger civilization, and that we've had other lives and we're playing human this time. But it helps us not think so small about ourselves, and it also helps us be sympathetic, like, it's like we're here in different suits, bringing the band together again. So, and we are the leaders of the consciousness community in one sense, because the ET is the most taboo part of the whole consciousness movement. And yet it's the thing that is going to be in our faces in 2 years, full on. And no one is going to be like able to get out of that conversation. It changes everything about everything, about everything, about everything. Every conversation, every strategy, every education, every toy, every history will have to be adjusted. So I don't think people are realizing the magnitude of this, but let's go back to you and the healing. What do you think happens when people click? And where do you think, is it that you have transferred? Because I do believe people transfer consciousnesses. So when you're around someone like Amma, or someone like Uriel or me, or whoever, you know what I mean? It's whoever, if you're certain, I'm certain that people can bend a spoon, that helps them somehow, you know what I mean? Because I'm transferring my belief in them. I'm saying you can do it, and I know they can. So I'm already there. I'm there. They can anchor to my consciousness, right? So are they anchoring to your consciousness? Are the ETs and angels healing them? Or are they just suddenly realizing the ontology, like that this isn't what they thought it was, and that they can be in control of their entire life?
Mm-hmm. It's a marvelous area to explore. I'm going to try and do my best to steer away from the technicalities. If you were to imagine your being and your body as an aquarium with many, many, many little pipes, and in each pipe, there is a liquid or an energy running through it, right? Depending what type, the viscosity, and what color of liquid you have running, that's what your overall aquarium will look like. So if you're running energies of stress, burnout, hypervigilance, control, fear, you're going to look a certain way, shall we put it. But then when you come and you work with me, or you work with another healer, or yourself, because the magic is already in there, and the reason you're drawn to these things is because it's in there and something is saying, hey, that thing, that smells right. That's my flavor. That's my liquid. for my aquarium, for my pipe. So basically, what you're not taking a chunk from you, although some healers do that, but then later on, when you transition to working, not dumping your own energy to heal people, but using the guide's energy or the cosmic energy, and you're like, hey, who wants a beer? Great. Who wants 17,000 tons of beer? Great. And you're no longer the source of this. You're just the bartender. So when you drain the old energies from your aquarium by doing this healing work, by becoming more conscious, and then you're like, okay, we've drained this. Now let's take a moment to rest and integrate. Sleep, eat, walking, sex, a hug, going to the gym, whatever it is, to help your body. Is like, whoa, we just had a mild shocking experience. We're letting go of all this trauma. Part of it you will remember. And now we get to turn on a different tap, and a different liquid of a different color and of a different energy gets to run through your body and mind. This is why people literally release years of stress, sometimes neck spasms, back pain, heartbreak, and they literally look years younger, because instead of these energies, they're like, oh, I remember I have power, I have choice, I have sovereignty, and I'm allowed to be happy. I'm allowed to not fit in with these people who don't get me, and there's nothing wrong with either of us. And I still get to be here and be massively happy, healthy, and successful, because the things I'm here to bring, there are people who are looking for that brand and flavor of energy, and they're like, I know you're here somewhere. Maybe I can't see you, but I will find you. Ooh, it's this way.
Yeah, that's a really cool analogy, because our innerness is what is bringing the outerness, and oftentimes it's worry, doubt, confusion, like Will talked about at the beginning. It's like, oh, we're on a faith walk here. We're just doing this. We know that the right people are coming, and no matter what. And so it's like you decide to just do stuff, and then stuff starts to build. So it's really cool when they start to build that second muscle of what happens to their reality when it's not those tanks, you know? And then of course there's leaks and all the things that goes on with the tanks. The tanks break. Yeah. Then you get filled up with another, and you're like, wait a minute, what is that? So it's a lifelong journey, obviously. But so I want to talk a little bit about your experiences in the astral plane and in out of your body and things like that, because that's available to us too. You know, it's kind of funny that we think we're in a body, but then you have remote viewing, and you're like, wait a minute, how did that person go over there and look around? Right? So like, talk about when you first discovered astral travel and what adventures you'd like to share with that.
It's one of my favorite topics and places to be. Thank you for asking. I think it's important to outline the access and simplicity before we go and explore that. So one of the reasons I did study more than 70 modalities is I'm infinitely curious. I love to play, I love to explore, I love to find what works for me. And some of these modalities are like, oh my God, yes, for 2 years we're doing this and this is incredible. Some are like, we're doing this for a week and that's going to be great. And after a while, after spending 2 years grinding, oh, there's that word again, every night, like no matter, I'd made a commitment. I was still working in IT, but for an hour, 2 hours, every night, I don't care how tired I was, where I was traveling, how burnt out, if I was drunk, I would sit down and I would work on this. After about 2 years, I'm like, okay, it feels vastly different. Let's see if there are other people around the same vibe. And I found them, and hey, how did you guys get here? 20 years shamanism, 20 years Buddhism, 20 years, 15 years. I'm like, I got here in 2. So if there is this gap, what's the next thing that I can do that's even easier and even faster? Because this guy is incredibly lazy. I'm an IT guy. I like the concept of push a button and make it all happen, and you just surrender to the universe. Later, I found how to combine my IT laziness with spirituality, but that's another story. And The key thing and the channeling and being out of the body comes back to your own power and sovereignty again. You know, there's a lot of modalities, for example, Buddhism, which saved my life 10 years ago, and it's great. At the same time, it takes you to, let's say, floor 7 out of a 120 floor skyscraper, and then says, this is reality. But you're like, but I smell something different. There must be something else available. Do I really need to do hardcore meditations while sitting naked in a cold, freezing cave in the Himalayas for 50 years in order to get to enlightenment, whatever that is? Good news, the answer is no, because the magic is already inside you. It's coded in you. It's in your body, and a lot of us start using it intuitively before we ever learn any modalities. It's one of the reasons, for example, people love to hug kids. Why? Because they haven't been limited by the controlling mind and brain. Their love, their kindness, their playfulness, their receiving, which is a very important part for all of us healers. And you just touch them, and 2 minutes later, you're like, I don't even remember what I have problems. I have problems. What are you talking about? So when you remember that and you allow yourself to start exploring and connecting to your soul, angels, Metatron, dragons, phoenixes, other beings who are out there, when you have the power, when you've opened up to allow yourself to connect to this, and you don't have to necessarily agree with everything they say or do everything the way they say it, although once you know who you're talking to, I found that's a general rule, they're pretty good at what they say. So their advice is generally pretty fucking good. And it just, there's been a few moments in my life where before and after, learning to channel, being out of the body, talking to these beings is a major milestone. Because this is, I'm going to figure it all out with my logical mind and control, and haha, I don't need your help. And then you're like, oh, I have access to this massive resource and support team and guidance and knowledge and information and magic and money, which I could never have thought logically possible before. And now it's like, well, I do journal, sure, to get some sort of structure and clarity. At the same time, it's like, yeah, hook a brother up. What do I need to do to solve this thing? It's not your thing to solve. Just move on to other things that make you light and fun and cool.
Fascinating. That is so true, because it's obvious that they have a different perspective than we have. We're like running around like this, and they're just like, we've been yelling, but you guys can't hear us. Yeah, because I mean, that's just so interesting when you talk. Like, I remember talking to Dean Radin, and he's like, yeah, if I get my equations for my science experiments in a dream, I know that they're right. He's like, barely has to test them, right? So like, if we can develop this connection, we have a listening capability. We have all the access to all information of the entire everything, right? All the people, all the stuff. I mean, that's the work of Grant Cameron in the ET work. He studied all of these people, he studied musicians, he studied all this stuff, and they write their songs in a single download. It comes channeled, that's how it comes, these great works, So it's really going to be cool to show the world how to make that connection. And you help people do that, right?
It's one of the major aspects of my teachings, because it's been a major paradigm shift, and at the same time, I have not seen, I'm not saying they don't exist, just I haven't seen other schools who teach important aspects about channeling. Because once you open up, you're like, oh, this is so cool. I got into the cool kid's house. But often we don't have yet the discernment and experience to know who you're talking to. And again, not everybody is a friendly. I've had clients and friends come to me and say, hey, my soul is saying something weird. Can you talk to it? I'm like, okay. What makes you think that's your soul? Well, I've been talking to it for 7 years, and it's been giving me some good advice, some weird advice. I don't know what's going on. Like, dude, that's a demon. And he's just fucking with you. It's like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Can we do something? Yeah. I feel so much better now. I wonder why that is. So channeling is great. It's an important, what do you call it, essential tool for, I believe, all star scenes. It doesn't matter if you're using it for business or for personal guidance. It does take a bit of mastery and experience to do it well. I'm not saying this to say don't explore unless you have a teacher, or don't trust yourself, but just please be aware and use discernment, especially until you have more experience. Just because you hear something or you're aware of something or you see something does not necessarily mean that this is a friendly or even true. So with time you develop this, and you have crystal clarity, it's not an issue anymore. So channeling is great. Just if you hear a voice that says cook the cat, yeah, do you really love cats as much as I do?
Yeah, you were talking about feeling good holding a child, and that's probably the same a little bit with pets, why people are so gravitated to them, because they don't have the worries of the world that we are just cycling through at all times. So that's interesting. We're going to open it up in about 10 minutes or so for audience questions. And Will's been around too. So if you guys have questions about the event too, you can ask him. So what are you most excited about unfurling in the next 2 years, or that will be unfurling in the world?
Oh, that is a wonderfully juicy and provocative question. Just the way I like them. Thank you. I am really looking forward to working with Will and the Starseed Village project. He is one of the best men in the world that I know. This is the most beautiful and magical land in the world that I know, even more so than Bali and Egypt and Koh Phangan and all those other wonderful places. But just, the things he's shown me there, like, we have this on Earth? Why didn't somebody tell me this sooner? So definitely building out the portal gardens there and just helping this project scale. That is, a full body yes, like a full body puppy yes for me. And I look forward to doing that. I look forward to scaling my school, Divine Benevolence, which helps people to tap into their magic and intuitive gifts so they can quantum leap their life, relationships, sex, pleasure, business. It's all in there. I am going to be starting to write my first book this year. So probably about 2-3 books in the next 2 years about channeling, meeting your guides, best practices, safety. And moving to Dubai. Being pulled to relocate there in about 4 months. Really looking forward to that, to connecting to a new type of people, just helping them embrace their magic and connect groundedness with spirituality and vice versa. Because, when you're standing on just one leg, it's fun to hop for a while, but it's great to have that grounded balance between money and spirituality and bringing the gifts to the world. That. And I'm going to be starting my own podcast and YouTube channel as well, where I can talk about these things and invite also amazing guests. So if you'd like to play, send the wizard a message, because let's play. Our Starseed family needs to hear this, needs to see this, receive it in any shape and form, and just say, hey, it's okay to play here. It's okay to be seen and have marvelous connections and to make lots of money, because money is not a weird, stupid, evil energy like a lot of beliefs we pick up from the past. Money is actually a very playful energy. Hilarious sense of humor. It's like, you like that? You like that? Come play, come play. And I was like, wait a minute. Money likes to be invested in big, fun, amazing, radically different things and projects that make you feel good and bring a lot of service to society. I wonder what kind of clue from the universe that is. But, that's a constant exploration.
Yeah, it's really exciting. There's a lot of crypto money coming at the consciousness community right now. I'm just like, wow, welcome. So it's really cool. Yeah, so wow, those all sound really good. And I love that you're moving to Dubai. I think that'll be a great shift and super interesting to meet that next realm of those people that are ready for you. How many guides do you typically work with on your own team? And what are they like?
what are they like? They are cheeky and playful, is what they are. I work with a lot of guides. It really depends on the person or the people I'm working with, because I have discovered that there are 12 main flavors of magic that people have. Some people have one flavor, some people have multiple. It doesn't mean somebody's better or worse. It's just the way they're built. So I often work with beings like Archangel Michael, Uriel, Metatron, Ganesha, dragons, phoenixes, mermaids, and they all bring different aspects here. So it really depends on what the person is asking for and what is required, because it's not a one size fits all. But one size fits all, it doesn't work. So depending on what the person is asking for, I can invite the proper people who have codes and in the way that this person is able and willing to receive now.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. The messages come in from where they're supposed to come in, depending on the person. That's really cool. So I wanted to double click on the abundance thing real quick, because, you know, we've really been looking in this last week in the Purpose Lab teams. Like we did muscle testing on 75 different beliefs around money. Most everyone was crying when they tested themselves originally. So I'm inviting everybody that's watching this broadcast to clear your relationship with money, because like we're here to play in the consciousness, just like he's saying, right? And we're blocking ourselves often. So we did the commands. So we read a page of commands to reverse those things. We retested, and everyone's belief had completely changed. So it's not difficult. It's not years long. It's not as difficult as we think it is to change our inner beliefs, change our reality, the whole thing. Yeah, it's unbelievable, because the subconscious mind is the sticking point of everything. It's the hidden, it's the dark world. It's the, you know, we can't see the other side right now very well, but we definitely can't see down there our entire subconscious mind. It's like 90% of everything. So it's really interesting how, you know, it's just so funny to me that we're in a reality where you can tap your head and change your thought. I mean, it's just like, okay, but it's not thoughts, it's belief. That's really one thing we're getting down to that I want to talk more about. It's not your thoughts that create your reality. Your thoughts are your conscious thoughts. That's all those thoughts are 20% or 10% or whatever. It's your beliefs that create your reality. It's your deep down belief. And so what we thought about the world and how it works and how it does is radically shifting right now, like radically shifting. So we can kind of treat that past information as, well, that was then, this is now, you know?
Question, Your Honor. Are you insinuatingly implying and hinting at the possibility that we don't have to use iPhone 1s anymore and we can upgrade to the latest version, which is easier, simpler, has more features and more fun to use? Is that what you're implying? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, this, you know, Mariko's mom died on the whole last night from the Holo movement, and Laura had texted her like, hey, I'm feeling, you know, we are connected to everyone, your family, your friends who you sleep with. In fact, we're doing research right now with the Biocybernaut Institute, realizing that when you get healed, you're actually affecting almost 100 people around you. So the work that you guys do, the inner work, is literally contagious. We call it protagious because we don't want to use the word contagious, but literally our consciousness is leaking out everywhere. And so that's just so fascinating, because there's science behind this fact that, you know, that we're all going to rise together, and that the consciousness is basically coming out. you know, of all of us into everyone else and the whole thing. It was just like, I don't think I explained that very well, but I'm just amazed that there's actual, even like social media posts and things like that. It just, it affects people. So I think we're putting the science together with the practices. And the tricky part is what you're doing, is taking a person into an experience that they can have, into a healing or an experience or transformation, so they can have those moments where they are more relaxed, they are having more fun, and they're really realizing that the universe is right there waiting for you to have fun, because it's waiting for you to show you what's possible. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. What's your first thing? I'm going to open it up after this last question to anybody, any of the members. We had a little snafu with our email, so we don't anyway, but we'll open it up to the members. Will and Mira are still here, so you can ask them about this huge 4-week event. So you go to 1 week, you stay for 2, or you go to 1, you go to the 3rd week, you go to the 2nd week, depending on if you're interested in doing DAOs, which are decentralized autonomous organizations, so just different things. So there's different weeks, right? Starseed week. So my last question to you for now, and I can't wait to have more because I really love your personality and your work so much. So again, let's go back to some of the common mistakes and perceptions. Like, what do you do with people from the beginning? Like, what are these some of the beginning things that people need to get going, and what are the mistakes that you see your students making over and over again? It's like, wait a minute.
One of the biggest things that I see, especially entrepreneurs who've already, they're making like $1 million plus a year, and they got the systems, they got the team, they have a vision, but they plateau. And this happens at all levels of visibility, income, and life. But what I often see is people try to brute force with the mind, in the sense that, oh, I find this interesting, therefore I should do this because it makes logical sense and I have a successful track record. Okay, that gets you to a point, but after that it's a grind and you can't really scale, and it's not fun anymore, it's not flowing. Like, yeah, okay, same old, now what? And it gets so. One of the things I help people do is really, interesting is great, but are you going to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting in the jungle by a fire, sipping cacao and talking about things that are interesting? Or are you going to be talking things which make you feel alive, which make your heart glow on fire, which make your eyes glow, which make your fun parts glow? What the thing that makes you really want to be alive and be on this planet, and you wouldn't care if it's cold, if it's freezing, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, if you're getting paid, you would just talk about this. Crypto is interesting. Would I talk about it at 3 o'clock in the morning? Not sure. At least not for 10 years in a row. So this is one of the things I help people connect to and feel in their body, feel in their energy. What is the difference of what just interesting is and what the next level expansion is? What it feels like to be like, oh, that, fuck yes. And then they're like, okay, so we connected to the vision. What are the steps? And again, there is a bit of logic involved for structure, sure. And at the same time, instead of brute forcing it entire, it's like, yo, who's on shift today? Archangel Michael, fantabulous. What do we do about this? How do we bring it to Earth? And then you get a shift in perspective and tool. And it's like, talk to Will, because he's a really cool guy with a big heart and vision, and you will love meeting other amazing people through him. What? Who said that? Oh, thank you. So it's not, you're not alone. That's the other bit. You're not alone. So you have support, you have resources, you have money, you have people and communities coming in. They're already on their way. They are looking for you. And you know, there is at least 50% of the planet who are magical, and then there are about 13% of who are hyper, super, mega, quantum, steroid magical. So that's a lot of magic, that's a lot of quantum, and that's a lot of kindness, love, prosperity, and knowledge that's just waiting to be loved and shared in the world. So you don't have to do it alone through the mind.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm going to invite everyone to hit a like and subscribe on the channel that you're watching this on. And so I think that's so interesting. Did everyone hear that? He's telling you that there's a flame in you that gets really excited about stuff. And it's not only when you're 14, it's now. This is how it all works. This is how you rip the field into synchronicities of possibilities. Like, I'm sitting here, so many miracles are happening at this point that I'm almost like throwing my entire I'm not, but my nonprofit is based on scientific, numbers and probabilities and how does this work and all this stuff. And it's all measurement. And I'm like, we don't need to understand probability anymore. When miracles are part of probability, that's like really irrelevant. It's about connecting yourself to the vision, like he just said, because that somehow organizes around you. And the problem is we play too safe when we create our visions. And so there's no fire. There's a maybe. There's a, oh, that'd be, feels like fantasy, right? But yeah, a true passion is something you could barely explain to someone else, because it's your soul going, yes, 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 because you're supposed to do that. If you're excited about doing it, you're supposed to be doing it.
Ooh. Can I ask a provocative question to everybody who's watching? Pretty please?
Yes.
What if you allowed your playfulness to come through in every aspect of your life, including love, relationships, sex, and business? And how much more money, success, and fulfillment would that bring with ease, joy, and flow without having to contribute, without having to control everything?
Right. See, I'm literally crawling out from the opposite. I was like, you have to work hard. Don't worry about having fun. Work hard and do it. Create it, build it, whatever. And it wasn't ease and grace. And sometimes, I mean, it's usually always fun, but still, like, because I like what I do. But still, that I think is what I think is very important for everybody to hear tonight. That part of the joy is part of the mechanics of it actually coming to pass. So if you're sacrificing yourself, you're not doing the universe a favor, because you're feeding it with bad tank water, bad tank things that he described.
If you're not eating all your chocolate every day, it doesn't make anybody happier.
I know, there was this girl who had this tattoo I saw the other day, and it said, don't forget to live. And I was like, okay, got the message. And then I was like, it's so great, you guys. Like, yes, we're given permission to have an amazing time. To our emotions help us find our boundaries. It helps us find out who we are, where we draw lines and things like that. But our joy has really been shut down because all of our dreams got taken away when we were 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 20 and 40 and whatever. Because we bought into this thing that the world wasn't hospitable for our kind and for our dreams and for our visions and for our hearts. But it is, because it was embedded in the nature of the reality itself. And everyone is needed and everyone's important. Yeah.
Mm. Mwah. I love it. I love
Yes.
everything that you just said. Can I share a quick story before we go to questions?
Yes, please.
So to tie this together with your other question about what are my guides like. So about 5 years ago, when I was just starting to learn channeling properly, we were doing this angel summoning exercise. We were not using mushrooms, psychedelics, incense, chanting, mantras, or any other external tools other than this special meditation technique, which you can do anywhere, including a car and a plane, without any substances. So my teacher explains it to me. I'm like, yes, sir. I mean, ma'am, sir. I do the thing. I look around. I'm like, where is everyone? You said I have friends and they're here to help and play. You're like, hang on a second. Yeah, you did everything right. She gets up from her seat. She walks around the room. She looks behind the couch that was standing behind us, and she's like, "Oh, there they are." And I have like 4 angels, full-grown, adult-looking angels with wings and everything. They are crouching like little kids behind the couch and giggling. They're like, "Are they gonna find us or not?" So we are here to fucking play. The reason why it can take some time for manifestations to show up, because if you're using tools that are not built for you, grinding, logic, control, sadness, stress, insanity, psychopathy, and you're expecting to get 5D, 7D, 12D results, it's like you don't bake a cake with cement and cat litter. You bake cake with good stuff, like gold and raisins and gluten-free flour and whatever floats your boat. But it's like, if you're trying to create gold from shit, if you figure out a way to do that, please let me know. I'll open up a fertilizer company. Otherwise, you have tools in your hands, in your soul, in your energy and body already, which can create massive change, impact, healing, expansion, clarity for you and for other people. One of it literally can be as simple as learning to, hey, this friend of mine comes to me with heartbreak or sadness, depression. Oh my God, what are you doing? This feels amazing. I had problems. What problems? What are you? I had this happen 3 days ago. I was at the co-working space. This girl's like, so, I'm 20 and I'm always talking to people who are like 60, 70, 80, and I feel like an equal. I'm not a normal person. And I'm like, you're an awesome person. Well, does magic really exist? Boom. Oh my God, what the hell? How did you do that? You have a lot of amazing tools, a lot of magical abilities. And it's not just about seeing things, channeling, or feeling. There are literally programs or codes or antivirus malware programs that your body and nervous system are wired for. And it can be as simple as, oh, this person needs this code. Push button. That's it.
Yeah, really, really cool. Those of you who might be eavesdropping on this video or are like, think maybe your mind is not sure what he's saying, I just want to interject some science. So, we've been talking with Benjamin Lone Tree here in Sedona, who can actually film using a infrared, far infrared, near infrared, far infrared camera attached to a Xbox camera that shows where you are. It reads like the body in a line, and he can point that toward an entity, a ghost or an ET or whatever, and see that moving, see all the arms, all everything, and he can point it to me, and it shows obviously too. But so, and then Dr. Hart is presenting a paper next week of the Biocybernaut where he's discovered a very unusual brain pattern that he studied, I think 7,000 people. I can't remember how many people have been through his clinic, but there is when you have alpha in the middle, that is a certain ratio higher than the back. My alpha is very high in the back and very front because I'm strategic, but there are high in the middle, half in the back, you can actually see angels. You can see entities. And he's talked to 7 people who he saw the brain patterns, like, oh, you can see angels. And they're like, I've never told anyone. What are you talking about? You know, and they're like, yeah, we can. So it can be developed in 1 week. At his he won't do that for you, but it's not like it's impossible. And he's also discovered a halo pattern that one Buddhist monk had discovered how to create around his head through an alpha theta wave that forms a toroidal field. And again, it's a perfect ratio. And when this guy died, he transferred his consciousness to his favorite student, who then had the toroidal field. It's called, over his head. So he calls it the halo pattern. So this is science, you guys. This is like, you know, we have to put our logic behind to actually go with Vinkenti, but we also have to realize this is science. This is actually, we're just finally putting the tools together to measure so delicately, right? Any questions from the team out there, you Lightning members, for Will or Vinkenti? Vikenti? You guys are being shy. So okay, I won't ask that question. Okay, so Scout is going. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, Scout.
Thanks for the great chat tonight. And Vikenti, I'm wondering how long has it been since you quit your IT job, and in your experience, how do novices tend to begin to tune in and listen to their guides?
Thank you, Steve. I left my IT job in 2016. Honestly, the exact timing is a bit blurry because, you know, done, finished chapter of life. So it's been about 9 years now. And, you know, it really depends on the person, what state they're coming in. Like if they are more relaxed and grounded, then it's just a matter of practice. The hilarious thing, from a technical standpoint, it's not very difficult. And as you progress in your skill level in shifting your brain waves to these alpha and theta states that Zenka mentioned, it just really becomes an easily integrated part of everyday life. So you can look at the flower, for example, and it's like, oh, there's fairies playing there. Cool, that's beautiful, thank you. So it's just little by little, you activate more of your brain and your neural network. And that also stretches out and enlarges your reality and your perception. The slower your brain waves get, the more you're able to see between the pictures, kind of like in movies, the computer screens. So people just practice more. And I love simplicity. Again, I am lazy. I love to automate. So there is a lot of tools that I help people tap into. And like, so I can do a visualization meditation sitting with a stiff back for 6 hours a day in a dark room, eating nothing but gruel. Okay, if that works for you. Or you can just learn to activate your own hands. Like, okay, I'm feeling a little wired right now. Boom. Oh, there are the angels again. I can see them because I'm not in the beta state, which is stress and analytics control. I am more in alpha theta state. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. But in general, I'd say people handle it very well. They often already come with experience and say, oh, so that's what I was seeing around grandma, or that's why I didn't want to go in the old house, or I've been getting these recurring dreams about angels or dead relative who've been like, hey, do this thing, or I'm sorry about the way I treated you, please forgive me. Doesn't that help?
how would you do like I have a tool that I want to show you guys, but before I do that, what were you gonna like, how would you do the first introduction? So they've never talked to anyone ever about anything. How would they make that very first connection?
Well, first of all, we would find out what their goals are. Is it curiosity? Are they looking for an answer to a question? Are they looking to just have a chat with their soul, for example, to find out what their purpose is, what their next, money thing is, business, relationship thing is? Like, why is my partner doing this? So we delve into that. Then I would help them clear out their energy and space from parasites, demons, entities, stress, connections, leaks, whatever. So you can have a full structured, clean vessel so that your aquarium is clean and ready. Then I would guide them through a process that helps them step out of their body and into the astral planes, and not just anywhere, but to a specific place like where their soul lives, whoever it is we're talking to, and say, hey, knock, knock, anybody home? Can we talk to you? And sometimes you will get a no, because they have lives too, and they have their attention elsewhere, and you're not the only one they're helping. So, that doesn't happen often, but it can happen. There's nothing wrong with it. And after we do this process, people mainly shift into this relaxed, calm, theta state, which means you're able to perceive more and you're able to be more honest with yourself. Because very often, when we operate at day-to-day kind of level, it's like, oh, I have these justifications and explanations about who I'm doing, what I'm doing, why I'm doing, where, etc. The rational mind, nothing wrong with it. But when you pop into this state, you're like, oh, it's actually connected to a past life where there was trauma, and I'm ready to shift it now and see clearer and deeper and be more honest with myself. So when we explore through that, it's easier to hear and feel and stay connected to your soul and these other beings that are helping you, and to hear them. And if required to see them, not everybody needs to see them. You can just operate on, here's a message kind of. So it's not like you have to have all the clairs, like seeing, hearing, feeling. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, so I'm going to share, Scout and Julie, this little tool that I was taught, but also, we use radios to talk to the other side. So Scout, I mean, it's like going back to what he said about like listening to yourself is the doorway to listening out there. But he's right. Like when you have a lot of BS that you're not willing to admit about yourself, because I know what that's like. It's like you're just justify. But that's no starting point. So Maureen Saint Germain is taught this at a conference, and I always remembered it, and I think it's a good way. And this is getting in touch with your soul. So this is not Archangel Michael, although those people can form groups, obviously, and speak as a single channel. And so I guess you could ask. But her recommendation was this. So forgetting, when you're trying to check with your soul on whatever, your subconscious mind, you can probably use a pendulum. That's your subconscious mind. But this is what she said. She said, come up with a color that is yes. For me, it's red. And come up with an object and a smell that is yes. So for me, it's just a rose, a red rose, right? So it's like red rose. Then think of a color that is no. For me, it's green, like pine trees, like a forest blocking me from that direction. And then I will ask, I'll say, oh, am I supposed to meet with this person? And then I can close my eyes and just see the color, see this, hear it, smell, do something. I see it. I know it. And so she said that once you establish that, you must, her method is you must follow that advice for 30 days straight. Because part of it's developing this relationship and a trust with who you're talking to. You're talking to yourself, you're talking to God, are you talking like whatever, Angel, like the ET, the guy, this, what are you, you know? So she said, don't ask it stuff that you don't want to not do, because she asks you to follow that. So if you want to go, do I want to eat a apple or an orange? That's a good question to start out with, because you don't really care if you eat an apple or an orange. It's not like, oh, should I date this guy, or should I, you know, buy this house, or should I take this job? Don't be asking it things you don't want to follow through in those first 30 days, but you will start to develop like, oh, that worked out well. Oh, that didn't work out, you know, whatever. So it's a muscle, right? And remember that every connection you make becomes solid in a way. So it's just, it's the strenuous time of being alone to give yourself, like, schedule the time, right? It's not going to happen while you're in line at the grocery store, although it could. Everything can happen however you want it to be, however is fun for you.
For sure. I love that tool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I really thought it was cool, and I really loved it. So we have 10 more minutes, you guys. I'm really excited when I meet people that are cutting through the noise and the time that it's going to take us to get on to our best everything. And right now, you guys are the leaders. The people listening to this, you guys are the leaders. The world is becoming conscious, and you guys are here to help everyone get going. So, like you said, you're not doing this alone. Everything's been provided. All the people have been provided. Everything's been provided. So know that you guys are held. Have patience. If you're going to take a left turn from IT to a healer, you know, that's a big turn, you know, and we've interviewed these people in the Purpose Lab where they're like, I didn't even know how to be a healer, and they were shown. So once you make shifts, make sure you're connected, fully connected, so that you can connect with your next step. Because remember, it's just a one step at a time. You don't have to go crazy or get out of your comfort zone or do something crazy. It's just step, and then another step, and then another step, another step. You don't have to know how it all ends to be walking. So I leave you the final time and words, and what do you want to tell people that are out there watching this? Is there something that you want to make sure they know?
There's a couple of things. Believe in yourself and your joy. That is a fantastic energy and driving force and tool. I mean, going back to kittens, puppies, and kids, just look at them. They don't care that it's 10 o'clock and you as the adult have this arbitrary timeline that it's time for bed. But Mom, I still want to play. I have energy. I don't want to sleep. I'm pumped. You're like, but you have to go to school. And they don't stop, and they keep going and going and going. Why? Because they're tapped into their joy. And joy is incredibly healing. It is incredibly powerful. I mean, look at some of the brain scans that Joe Dispenza does. He doesn't work with joy so much as love, but, you know, similar energy and similar results. Your hormones normalize, your brain waves synchronize. So, you know, you're aligned with yourself, you're in your power. And play is an amazing, miraculous tool and creative force and energy. Just tap into that. We are here to play. We are here to create. The universe wants us to, because it's a benevolent universe, and there's no reason not to. I mean, here you are in a playground with like Minecraft or something, and like, here's a shovel, and we're going to put the rest of the tools behind the shed, and we're going to hide the shed. But then when you find the shed, and you have, oh, look, there's a bulldozer and a remote-controlled car and a worm and a titmouse and the parrot. And cool, I get to have all these things and talk to Archangel, and I don't have to do that alone. So another big thing, you know, to piggyback on this is there's been so much stigma and beliefs about, oh, you have to be serious. Really? What does being serious look like? Like you're constipated. And why? The neck stiffs up, the shoulders stiff up, which means you have less blood flow to what's that organ responsible for consciousness and processing and logical and creation? It's somewhere in the brain. Where does the brain live? It needs blood. So when you get serious, you get tense, you constrict. When you relax and play and flow, you get to actually have massively different results. And I would love to give the tool to everybody who's just, exploring this path or just looking for something easy and fun to clear up energies that are stuck or limiting beliefs. The thing about money you said, for example, I don't know what process you used to clear it, but in one session, 75, fantastic, love it. I'll take 6. So the tool is called Mind Cleanse, a cleansing of the mind. So very simple to use. You do not need sage. You do not need Palo Santo. Whenever you see a thought or an emotion that doesn't feel right, doesn't feel like you, or maybe even sounds like your grandmother, your mother, your dad on a bad day, point your attention there and think or say mind cleanse. And just feel how the energy shifts. And then if it feels good, give it a couple of seconds and mind cleanse again. You can do this for any sort of discomfort in the body, outside the body, when you're sitting in the cafe and there's a bunch of drunk, loud, angry people, or you're in queue or in traffic, or like, ah, or you're like, mind cleanse. Oh, I don't care anymore. Look, a squirrel. So play, experiment. It's easy. Please, this is my gift to the world. Spread it. It deletes what's not true for you and leaves everything that is. Mind cleanse. Mind cleanse, baby. Better than mushrooms.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Delete, delete, delete. Mind cleanse, mind cleanse, mind cleanse. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because that stuff won't come back, you guys. Once you cut the roots over and over again, it decides not to grow anymore. And you're just like done with that. So everyone, you can check out his work at Divine Benevolence Academy. So you can find out more about his work there. You work with people all over the world, then you can also come to Guatemala during this November 24th or 22nd to the end of December 20th, I think it is. So that is also, you can find that at Prophetic DAO, DAO.com. And then if you're listening to this and you're not a Lightning member, I don't know why. We do spoon bendings. We're a community of people that make the impossible possible. We're a nonprofit. We're here to really empower ourselves and believe in each other so that we can unfurl our dreams in the world. So thanks for joining us today. Drop a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next month on the Unlimited Show.
Thank you for having me, Zenka. I love your vision. I love your motto. What's an impossible? It's all possible.
Yes, thank you so much for your amazing work in the world.